guys. And of course, we got the beautiful co-host again, Ariana, back again for another episode. She's gonna be a full-time co-host here soon as she makes her way out here. Because I know we had great feedback from the last podcast.
That's fun.
Yeah, especially my buddy John. You'll meet John whenever we go to Idaho. Shout out John. What's up, John? Jerry. He's like, I can relate more to the podcast now because it's like couple things instead of just like
Sucia things.
Yeah, single things.
Okay, excuse me.
Yeah, single things. So
there's no problem being a sucia, babe. Calm down.
That's true. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to everyone who keeps listening to the podcast. Support your boy. Leave us a thumbs up, a 5-star rating wherever you guys are listening to this. That's all, and that's free. That's free support. Like, that's all I ask for. You know, there's other people who go and buy merchandise, necklaces and stuff like that, which I really do appreciate. But if you can just like the video, comment, share, or leave a 5-star review, depending on where you guys are listening to this. But we wanted to get into this episode because obviously the content that you do is more ADHD based. And so one of the things that we wanted to talk about is being in a relationship with that, like how you...
You guys, he never tells me the topic. He always just springs it on me.
She kind of brought it up. She's like, hey.
Yeah, I brought it up, but I was like, but you always have like 50 ideas going on in your head. But yeah.
That's true.
And
too.
I interrupt because I have ADHD too, so I want them.
But yeah, I wanted to talk to her because I know there's a lot of people who follow her. And, you know, she recently did a podcast with, I think it's called like Pivot with Purpose.
Pivot with Purpose with Carla Woodmaris.
Yeah, great episode. I listened to it, you know, obviously because it's you and I wanted to hear it. Like you on a podcast. And she did great. It's amazing. She shares a lot, which is great. And what I like about the podcast is that, you know how when you get some guests, they really don't say anything, or like they really vague, or
could never be me,
or super nervous, so that holds them back from answering. You know,
yeah.
I've had guests before where you can tell nerves like crazy, and I'm like, "Are you nervous?" They're like, "No, a little bit."
No, could never be me. Could never be us.
Yeah, it could never be us. So, I mean, let's see. Let's start with like.
Wait. Let me start.
Okay, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I'm interrupting.
No, go ahead.
I'm a permanent co-host now, right? Okay, what are some of the things
Allegedly.
that you've noticed that are my ADHD symptoms, like in real life? Because we talk about me being literally the same person I am online and in person.
Yeah, she can't focus sometimes. Like, for example, yesterday
Sometimes.
we were gonna go to dinner, right? And she got here yesterday. We were gonna go to dinner, and she's like, "Hey, let me go get my phone out of my car because you left it in there." And I'm like, "Okay, perfect." I'm like, "Cool, let's go get your phone." So we got my truck, and then we pulled around to get her phone out. She goes in there, does everything she needs to do, and then she like comes out walking, and I'm like, "Did you get your phone?" And she's like, "Fuck."
I was like, "How did you know I didn't get my phone?" And he's like, "I know you."
Yeah, and so, and then when she's trying to show me something, she'll show me something different, and then she'll forget that what she originally was going to show me.
Yeah. Okay. So all of those things are like the cutesy little ADHD things, but let's get into the nuts and bolts of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these are things. Okay. So we've only been together for.
We're about to hear. Hey,
is it today?
No, when it comes out, I think it's going to be 1 month that we're
cool.
officially dating.
Just a month officially dating, but we've been talking for what, like 2.5 months or so? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's been a really short time, but ADHD girlies listening, you already know that when we do things, we do it hard and fast, no regrets. But so he hasn't had the time to see the really ugly sides of ADHD, like the emotional dysregulation that we suffer, the ADHD going hand in hand with depression. And you know how I'm like always horny all the time? All the fucking time.
Yeah.
We're going to hit a time where I go from hypersexual to hyposexual, which is just like, don't even touch me, right?
Yeah. And see,
those are the scary things coming up.
So I'm glad we actually talked about that, because I told her I would rather have you tell me that you're going through that. So I'm like, oh, okay. Instead of being like, why doesn't she want to like?
What's his name? Who is he?
Yeah, like we literally like
went from everything to zero.
Yeah, and so that's why I told her, I was like, hey, if this would happen to this is why I always say communication, because you can ask her. I told her, I was like, hey, if that ever happens or when it happens, to let me know. And I'll be like, oh, okay, like you're going through that. That's fine. Instead of
Yeah.
just being like, don't touch me. I'd be like, the fuck? What happened? You know? And
Yeah.
then you get in your own head. Like, why didn't she want me to touch her? Like, did I do something? Like,
No, exactly. And I had
is
actually
she talking to somebody else? Like,
I had actually posted a reel about it. Like I posted a script on like what to say when you are feeling like asexual or hyposexual, and just not particularly attracted to your partner. Thanks, babe. And what to say to your partner, because like I think a lot of the times it's easy since we're the one with the, I'm gonna air quote this, disorder or whatever. We're the ones, you know, that have ADHD, and if we're with somebody who doesn't have ADHD, it's easy to focus on us and us having the, again, air quotes, nobody get offended, problem, and then the other person being air quotes normal. But so we focus on our feelings and not their feelings, but we have to remember that they're kind of like alone in the dark sometimes when it comes to what's in our head, because for us to verbalize what's in our head and for us to openly communicate and say like, I love you so much, I'm going through it, like I want to want you, but I fucking can't right now. It's just a dry spell for me and I don't know how to get out of it, but I love you. Like just saying that, I think goes a long way.
It'll go a long way instead of just keeping it in. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure there's some people who, I hope some guys watch this too. I mean, the cool thing is there's a lot of guys and girls watching it now.
Hopefully.
Or
that they send this to their partner if they have ADHD.
Yeah, and be like, this is what I go through. Like,
Yeah.
this is what you don't understand. I'm not the only one. It's not because I'm like trying to be a certain way. It's just, that's just how our brain functions.
It's so hard because it breaks our hearts too. Because like, we're natural people pleasers. People with ADHD are natural people pleasers. Like we just want everybody to be happy because we've gone through so much judgment and failure and criticism and so many harsh comments that we want everybody else around us to never go through that. So we end up being people pleasers, right? And we want to especially please our partner because we don't like conflict. And so when what was I saying? Shit.
ADHD, yo.
Dude, I was like, I literally just told him I didn't take my Adderall. But anyways, so,
fine.
that we're people pleasers. Yeah, we want to please our partners. So it's like, we want you guys to understand as much as possible about us so that we don't feel blamed. And we don't want you to feel unwanted because we've felt unwanted, those of you listening, probably the majority of our lives.
Yeah, no, and so that's why it's huge that you guys, especially if you know you have it or you think you haven't, still communicate it with your partner. That conversation will probably go a long way compared to not saying anything at all. Like imagine if you don't say anything or they don't believe you. That's why like it's perfect that maybe they get to see these clips or see the whole podcast because you get to learn. And that's why I really wanted to listen to your podcast that you did with Carla. So I got to learn more about you. You know what I mean?
We really went, guys. I was like, listen to the podcast with caution because I really put it all out there. Like I said, I'm always no filter, but I was like, no judgment after this. And he didn't. He actually listened to learn, which is an ADHD love language. Listening, like to learn us. That's all we ever want from a partner. Like, oh my God, somebody who wants to learn about me. What?
But yeah, because one thing that I told her that I talked to her afterwards because I felt I thought I was doing something wrong, meaning like. So in the podcast, she talks about how sometimes physical touch from people is like a real, like you get kind of, let me explain, kind of get grossed out or like you just don't want people to touch you at certain times, like, and especially other people. And so like while I'm listening to this part, I'm like, oh shit. I was like, I think she's this. But then if you keep listening, it explains, or she explains how, but when it comes down to your partner, it's like you can't get enough of them. Like you want them, you basically want to live in their skin.
I tell you that all the time too. I need to be in your skin.
Yeah. And so, and another reason why we're doing the podcast out here in the living room is because she's like, I can't do it in a chair.
What did I say? Sitting in a chair was like for an ADHD person.
That it was like,
it's hell.
Yeah. And like, cause to sit still.
Yeah.
That's why like I'm thinking about switching up whenever she does decide to come, because we can do it in the living room until then.
I love me a comfy chat.
Yeah, and something just more permanent over there. Maybe some like comfy chairs and stuff like that. That way she can sit.
I was like, as long as I get to sit crisscross applesauce,
She'll be happy.
if you know, you know.
You got to make them happy.
Wait, on that topic, I feel like it is so easy. Is it hard to be with an ADHD person? Yes, it has its challenges, but I feel like it's so easy to make us happy too. And can I tell him what you do to make me happy?
Yeah.
Okay, so he does like little things all the time. We always say 100 little things is better than, one big thing, although don't forget the big things. And for us, 100 little things is like, you keep our attention, because I feel like either he's sending something to my house like every other day, or he's planned something for us, or when he comes out, or he surprises me over there. It's like a constant dopamine rush, everything. But if you look at it, like the totality of it, it's a bunch of little tiny things that just keep my attention and keep me excited. And I'm a little things person too. And if you have ADHD, you know you're a little things person too. That we always kind of like, just, I don't know. I don't want to say breadcrumb because that's a different that's psychological term here.
So technically it is breadcrumbing, but
in a positive way.
In a positive way, because
it's not like we're trying to.
I'm not like doing this, and then being like,
and then
get away
it
from
away.
me. Yeah,
no.
Like I'm doing this and this and this. That way, like you're just like, oh yeah, he does like attention. And I wish people would do that. And I always tell people the 100 little things doesn't have to cost you anything. Like it could be as easy as like sending a letter, like depending on whoever's situation and like whatever your financial
you're
situation.
So cute like that. You're so cute. You would send a letter.
Yeah, like if you can send a letter.
Sending a letter is free.
Or if you can do something without them knowing, and then maybe sending them something small, some food, some coffee, to wherever they work. It's just a bunch of little things. Like the other day, she said that she was gonna go. She's like, "Oh, there's this new ice cream place, and I want to take the kids."
Yeah.
While we're on the phone, I sent her money. I was like, "Oh, you go get ice cream with the kids." It's just like little things like that. It's not difficult. I think guys overthink it. Like you have to overthink everything that you do.
Just pay attention to us.
Yeah, it could be like, hey, I know you like this snack. I brought it for you.
Food snacks.
Yeah, like
every time I come over, it's like, what do you want, so I can fill my fridge with it.
Yeah, I told her because she said she was coming, so I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to the store. What do you want? Like, because I don't know everything that she likes now or yet.
Yeah.
But if she was like, hey, can you get me this? That way I can snack on this or whatever. Cool, I'll go get it, That way, like, when she's here, it's
the whole being thought about part. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's just I've never been thought about in that way, but, like, another ADHD love language is seeing something that reminds us, like, of our person or our best friend or our siblings or whatever, and getting it and being like, look what I got you. Like, it's like a kid coming with a cool rock, like, look what I got you. Also, that was probably only us.
Have you struggled in the past? Like, I mean, we've obviously had our conversations, but have you struggled in the past dating with ADHD?
Yes, because I'm so fucking fake at first. And when I met you, I knew I could be like me right away. Although we did talk about me like slowly breaking out of my shell. I was like, I think I'm 50% there. But because at first we're masking, right? So we're riding that really, really high dopamine rush of the novelty of this new relationship. And then we kind of mirror our partner, which is something that sucks that we do. We end up taking on the interests of our partner and everything just in efforts to be liked. We're not used to being liked too much. We're used to being too much, actually. And so once all of that wears off, like around the 2-month, 3-month mark, and it's this huge crash, I feel like we're back to like our identity crisis, and then this relationship crumbles. They see the real us, they see us crumbling, and they're just like, you're fucking crazy, or like, I didn't sign up for this. They leave, and then it's just like this vicious cycle, which is exactly why I told you, like, I was so happy being single before I met you. Like, very happy. Like, I was figuring myself out, I was learning myself. But when you're actively dating with ADHD, you have to be careful with those really high dopamine rushes. And with you, it was a slow burn. Like, I didn't respond to you right away. I didn't I want to throw that out there. I did not respond to him right away. I didn't. Don't roll your eyes. I didn't. You were so thirsty, my DMs.
I messaged you once.
Okay. And then you were like, what's up? Like, you want to come out here?
Yeah, and she came. Look at her now.
Look at me now. Let me eat my own words. Hold up. So anyways, like writing those highs and lows and that like morphing into your new partner and developing new interests all of a sudden and then feeling like a fraud because you're like, you stop one day and you're like, wait, who the fuck am I? That is really difficult for us dating, and it's super dangerous because we become either completely antisocial or like serial daters. And that's fucking exhausting.
Oh yeah. Like I'm glad you bring that up just because that way other people can see, like, because I'm learning as I go, like, more and more about you and like the whole ADHD thing. Because I always say, I think everybody says, I think I have it to a point. You know?
My fucking God, don't fucking say that.
But some of the things that you actually talk about, I'm like, holy fuck, like, I do that.
No, listen. Because
I struggle, like, for example, I struggle to focus, like,
you're everywhere.
I can focus on, say, like, when I'm working, right? I can focus, but I'm probably doing like 50 things.
Everybody's laughing at you right now listening to this.
Why?
Because they're like,
Because I'm like doing a little bit of this, and then I'll be like, oh shit, I got to do this. And then I jump over here, and then I jump back, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was doing this. And like I go back and forth. And before I know it, I just did a little bit of everything instead of like completing one thing.
And then you have your particularities too. Like you're very particular about some stuff. And I've told you a couple of times, like, I don't know, babe. It looks like you've been in touch with the tism just slightly. I've told you before.
Yeah.
But
shirt's coming soon.
Shirt's coming soon. No, we have my shirts coming soon.
No, yeah, that's why.
Can't wait for that.
Shirt's coming soon.
So anyways, I do, we in the community hate the whole like simplification of everything. Like everybody is a little bit ADHD. No, the fuck they're not. Because like I said, it comes down to the emotional dysregulation, the comorbidities like depression and anxiety that come with it. Nobody just, I'll venture to say nobody just has ADHD, right? And it comes with disorganization, poor time management skills. And then the one question that when I was diagnosed at 17 that I sat down and talked to my family practitioner about, which by the way, I'm lucky to have a family practitioner because was willing to hear me out because getting diagnosed with ADHD is an entire different ballpark. But he pointed out that he knew I had ADHD basically, like he could see it because he was my doctor since I was like 4 years old. And he said that the one defining factor between everybody has a little ADHD and people who actually are neurodivergent is these are issues, all the issues that you're suffering with right now, did they just come about after a traumatic thing or after a depressive episode, after you had a baby, after you had a divorce, or were they always present? And ever since I can remember, they were always present.
No, yeah. That's why, like, I'm sure when people say that, it's kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. Or you're just like, no. You know, because that... But then also, I think my time management, you know what I mean? Like all these, that's why I'm like, I don't know.
I see you so good at stuff though. Yeah. Maybe because you're if you do have ADHD, you're very high masking, which means that you've learned to cope and you've learned to like get along in society in ways that are socially acceptable. And so we call it unmasking. Like, remember I told you the reason that I came over here was I just needed to come and exist around you and just sit on the couch and shut the fuck up and not talk to you. And I just needed to be here and unmask. Because during this move, I'm moving right now, I've had to be so responsible and so on top of things. And it is so fucking exhausting.
Yeah, so just so people know what she's talking about, she messaged me yesterday and said that I just need to go and just discombobulate myself over there. Like,
no, I feel discombobulated.
Yo, she feels yeah, and I was like, first of all, I thought she was trying to be like sexual. And I was like, are you trying to like...
Are you coming on to me?
Yeah, it's like, you trying to do something? Like, what's up?
What you trying to do, girl?
And so that's my next question because I know everybody else like wants to know. since obviously that's what I talk about a lot, is like intimacy, is how is ADHD being intimate?
Okay, I'm going to talk to them what we just talked about in the morning.
Yeah, go ahead. Before or after?
Huh?
I said it was before or after?
Stop. So, being intimate with ADHD can be super distracting, and I'm trying to watch my words here because I don't want to say the wrong words. But when you're, we'll just say being intimate with your partner, distractions can arise out of nowhere. It can be anything. And so what I'm really going to tell him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what we're talking about right now, he was like,
that's why they're here.
How come you don't let me
go down?
I don't know
why she's struggling to say it.
I know. Why am I getting nervous? I'm acting so brand new right now. Why don't you let me go down on you? He's like, you have before, and I was like, yes, and I was super uncomfortable, and he was, I know that either pissed you off or made you uncomfortable, but here's the reason that I told him, like, I get so distracted no matter how good it feels, and baby, you do a great job. No matter how good it feels, in a millisecond, my attention can be diverted elsewhere, and then to get me back, like, is difficult. And that can even happen during sex, and it's not comfortable, like, because you realize in your head, like, oh my God, like, estamos haciendo el pinche delicioso, and I'm somewhere else. And then I feel guilty, like, but I am enjoying myself, but I do love him, but this is great, but I am having fun. And then that's how I snap myself back into it. But what I tell you, I'm like, in the first, 10 minutes, like, that's my attention span. But so anyways, we had that talk. It was an uncomfortable convo that we just had at the breakfast table. And I was like, it's nothing personal. And then also I feel like I take more time to open up and feel like not self-conscious or whatever.
She'll let me watch eventually.
What?
I said, you'll let me eventually.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, like, it's not like we haven't done it before, but it's just that, like, if I can avoid it, like, and focus all my attention on you, I would rather do that because you are my hyper-focus right now, if you didn't know this. Like, when all my attention is on you, you have to stop me. Like, you have to say, like, nope, come up here now. Right? And I'm always like, well, yeah. Anyway, so.
Yeah, she gets mad sometimes when I pull her up.
Well, because I'm just like, I wasn't finished.
Yeah, so that's why I let her take her time.
When they disturb us during a hyper focus.
See, and this is me learning, though. Compared to, like, not my problem.
Yeah, true.
So, obviously, you make adjustments and changes.
But I love that about you, too, because, like, you know how, like, we're super sometimes not very receptive to criticism because, like, rejection sensitive dysphoria and everything. RSD is a freaking nightmare. He is so receptive to criticism. Like, I'll say something and I'm like, oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings. And he's just so secure that he's just like, oh, okay, cool. Let's make adjustments. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, and like
I want to be like you.
Yeah, she told me that and I was like, all right, cool. That just means I have to have a little, because I don't know if some guys can relate. Like, when you just want, like, to be in the person, right? Like, yeah. So that's why, like, sometimes you just grab her or, and then just be like, let's do it. If you could live
down there, I know you would.
Oh, absolutely. No, so I'm glad she said it. Like, I don't have an issue talking about it just because it's something, and I'm sure other people go through those similar situations where maybe they tell their partner and they think that it's like some sort of lie, or like, hey, like, I don't want to do it because of this, or again.
Well, I mean, if the rest of our sex life was effed up, I think that you would be like, okay, something's up here, but everything else is amazing. I mean, let me speak for myself here. No, let me speak for you too, because we're both blessed.
Yeah, it's
very blessed.
It's been a lot of fun, so I'll just tell you that.
Yeah.
So, like, do you guys struggle with anything else, like, while being intimate? Like, because I know you said you also get distracted, like, when you're actually doing it.
Remember the other thing I was going to tell you? That ADHD meds, they dry you out.
Oh, that hasn't been a problem.
It hasn't been a problem with us, but previously.
Yeah. So she was saying, so again, she, you know how we obviously talk about things. She was telling me that with ADHD, the meds that she's on, it dries her up down there. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, it dries up her pussy. Like,
Yep.
but
And it gives you dry mouth too, dry skin.
yeah, but we have yet.
We have yet to come across that
We
problem,
have.
which I'm freaking loving. Maybe it's the dopamine that's just making it a freaking ocean down there. But before I was open with you like hey, before, like, this was an issue I had, so I had to like explore like different lubes and everything. And I was like, then I started thinking like maybe it wasn't the medication, maybe it was the partner. I don't know, but no, but I've had other women tell me like that it's just like barren down there.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to what you do beforehand, because
Oh yes, foreplay.
yeah, because it was foreplay is not just like it starts. Say you go to dinner, like you
Talk
go to
to me,
dinner, you talk, like you're flirting, you kind of like kiss each other, and like that's where it starts. People think that foreplay is just in the bed. As soon as you get in the bedroom, that's when the foreplay starts, or the foreplay is like just going down. You know, no, there's a lot that goes to it, like kissing, smacking, you know, and just like like saying cute things to each other. Because last night
We flirt a lot.
yeah, last night we went to dinner, you know, and then we were flirting like while we're at dinner, and then on the
I'm
way
getting
back,
nervous.
yeah, and then on the way back here, obviously we were flirting more, and then it just like one thing leads to another.
I'm
But
about to
then
pull you on the side of the road.
yeah, but the thing is like when I say we haven't had an issue is that it's the only issue is that sometimes we got to go get her more underwear because
Babe,
she stays wet down there. You know what I mean? Like she runs out.
you
And
guys.
hey, shit. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's cool. I have my entire drawer here now.
Yeah, so and that's another thing that I mean that we started doing.
I
Because
forget things.
so I know with ADHD, like her focus is all over the place. Meaning like when you're packing or something, maybe in your head you remember like, yes, I need to pack that. But you forget it because then you're like, it automatically switches to something else. Like, oh, I need to pack this. And the
I
thing
forget
that,
things all the time.
and so that's why I was like, let's just go get you a bunch of stuff and just like leave it here. Like,
If he wanted to, he would, guys. He literally was like, what's the problem? Like, let's just go get you everything that you need and bring it here. And then I was like, oh, I want to stay another night. Like, I don't want to leave. And I was like, but I don't have clothes. Like, I literally didn't bring clothes on purpose so that I wouldn't stay another night, etc. And he was like, well, then let's just go shopping.
like, I really wanted to make this episode just so, because maybe the guy is even like ADHD and the girl's not ADHD, right? But just being aware of
I feel like that's harder.
probably, but I think it's just having these conversations or knowing that these are some of the issues that go on. So that's why, like, watching something like this, they'll have an idea. You know what I mean? Like, an idea of what goes on or what goes on through that person's head. That way it's not like because I don't know, like, for a guy, is it the same, like, while being intimate? You know, do they get super distracted? Are they, like, they don't want third person to go down? You know, like,
I'm going to be honest with you. I've never heard a guy say that.
Like, with them, with the meds, maybe it doesn't get hard.
Oh, that would be an interesting question. So for my male followers who are watching, first of all, what's up to the 3% of you who are male? I'm interested in hearing about that too. Like, do you guys get erectile dysfunction with ADHD meds? Do you guys lose your focus? Like, I just talked about how I'll get distracted if he's going down on me and he's down there for a while and stuff. Like, my mind's gonna wander. Is it like that for you guys? I've never heard that. I know we have an ADHD, influencer group chat, whatever. I've never heard anything in there about that for males, but women were always constantly harping on about being distracted. Mm-hmm. I want to know if you guys send us some feedback, comment on this. Women, share it to your ADHD husbands or boyfriends. I want to know that.
Yeah, like, because I'm interested if it it correlates.
Yeah,
like it's the same thing, right? Like, or maybe they get different symptoms or different like side effects. Like, what if they What if the Adderall acts like a freaking Viagra, right? And like they can't,
Right?
they can't get it to stop, you know, or like they're just like super horny all the time. Again, like you don't know, I don't know, I'm not on it, or not.
I feel like my Adderall takes away, like right now when I was like, I didn't take my Adderall, it's okay. Because like, I'm trying to be fun and exciting with you right now. Sometimes I take my Adderall and I just get like down to business. I'm just like,
Focus.
I have things to do, and then being sexual is kind of off the table. But then again, when I take my Adderall, sometimes and like we go out or whatever, like my hyper focus will be you, and then, I mean, that's when you're the lucky recipient of that. So,
And it's been amazing. So, what would you say to someone who, like, is looking to date someone that has ADHD? Like, what are some things to like, one, look out for, or just to be aware of that they do? Because again, I'm learning.
okay,
Just like, what are they getting into?
first of all, if you really, really, really like that person, all of these things, and I don't mean to minimize our symptoms, but a lot of these things will just be learn to live with them, I suppose. Like a lot of these things won't bother you. A lot of the times I have my followers messaging me saying that, you know, like, oh, my husband hates when I do this, and oh, he yells at me because of this, and he hates when and he hates. And I'm like, does he like anything about you? And so like a lot of the times what I realize is that you'll really, if your partner is patient with you, as somebody who has ADHD, if your neurotypical partner is patient with you, like, it's because they really, really love you. So if you're with somebody, an ADHD person, and you can't stand a lot of the things that they do, you probably don't love them.
Yeah,
It makes it easier to be patient when you love somebody.
that, and like they should think about maybe this possibly ain't for them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like, and that's okay.
Because they're not gonna get better.
No, exactly. You can learn to. I always say you can learn to cope better. You can develop new habits and new routines and stuff that can get better. But at the core of it, those symptoms are not going to get better. And it's okay for somebody to get with somebody with ADHD. And I want you guys to know this: if you're listening to this, and you're dating somebody with ADHD, and you're finding too many things difficult, leave them and let them be loved correctly by someone else, because it is not fair for them to be half loved and feel like a burden in their relationship for the entire thing. That is a living hell for them. Do them the mercy and just leave, please. That's like a PSA. Like, if you cannot handle it, it's okay. You don't have to. I get it. It's frustrating. We get frustrated with ourselves, but just leave. It's like a mercy thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and I really do agree. Like, if it's something that they can't, because there's nothing's gonna change. Maybe eventually in the future they might come out with like some sort of thing, like pill, like, hey, you're fixed. But is that likely?
No, don't fix me. I literally, I like me.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but like until then, like, you're gonna be how you are.
Yeah, we're gonna be how we are. And like I said, things can get a little bit better. We can learn to cope better. We can develop new habits and stuff. But at the end of the day, we are going to be our crazy selves.
Yeah,
and our kind of discombobulated and everywhere kind of selves.
And you have to be ready for that. Like, that's why, like, with me, like, I'm a pretty patient person.
Super patient.
Pretty patient. But as soon as I start learning, like, some of her things, like tendencies and like and things like that, that's why, like, when she went in her car and she got her bag, when we went to go get the phone. And I was
like right away you were just like, did you get your phone?
Yeah, and she's like, oh, no, and like went to go get her phone just because I saw her instantly like grab her purse
and other things.
Yeah, and so that's why I was like, she probably forgot about the phone. Like,
but see, those are gentle reminders, and I think dating, like, another piece of advice, gentle reminders go a long way with us. Like, instead of like, are you serious? You went all the way over there, you didn't get your phone. Instead of that, listen to the tone of that. We play a lot on tone. Tone is super important for us. Instead of using an aggressive or an accusatory or a critical tone, just like, hey, baby, by chance, did you grab your phone when you were over there?
Yeah, and again, once you get to it, you have to remember how, someone who has ADHD is, and you can't be getting upset. That's why, like, if you do get upset over things like that,
We take it to heart.
not just they take it to heart, but like, this is not the person you should be with, like, because they're
Yeah,
not gonna
really
change.
just kind of evaluate.
Yeah, because sometimes, like yesterday when we were talking right before we were gonna go to bed, and then she was like looking through the comments of she was posting some stuff, and some of the videos went crazy. Proud of you for that, like posting and
Thanks, baby.
having viral videos. And she just put her phone back down, and I was like, "Please put it on the charger." And she's like, "Fuck!" And she put it back on the charger.
You told me like 3 times.
Because what I've noticed with her is that she doesn't really put her phone on the charger unless it dies, and then she lets it juice up just a little bit, and then she takes it off.
10% is enough for a Costco trip.
Yeah, and then but sometimes we're like talking, and she's like, "Oh fuck, my phone's gonna die," and so that's why I was like, "Hey, just leave it plugged in overnight. You're not gonna be using it."
And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the charger, and I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at the charger, and I'm just like, I should. And then I literally don't. But I guess that's why I have you to remind me.
Exactly. So like
Gently.
I saw her put the phone back down, and I was like, "Can you please put the put the charger back in?" And she was like, "Oh fuck!" And she grabbed the charger and plugged it right back in. And it was just like a simple like, it's like I could have been like, "That's why your fucking phone dies," like, because you don't charge.
Ew, if you would have talked to me like that,
Yeah, I would
I would have
like,
dried up.
That's why I was just like, I literally told you. I was
Yeah,
like, hey,
yeah.
can you please put it back on the charger?
And I think with us, the way that like to make us feel safe and to feel wanted, because like I have another video where I talk about my ADHD love language is, can you make me feel safe to fuck up around you? Like, you've yet to talk to me like with a critical or harsh tone, and it's always just like, hey baby, don't forget, or like, hey babe, did you mean to do this, or no, don't worry, I got it, or you just fix things. I feel like I'm like a tornado and you're just like sweeping up behind me, which if it sounds exhausting, if you're listening to this and you're thinking he's not your parent, he's not your caregiver, whatever, yes, I understand. So if this doesn't sound like something that you can deal with, like I said, you're not, no eres el indicado aquí.
Yeah, and it's not like she makes it seem like it's super bad.
Because we always feel like that, though.
But in reality, it's just like little things.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're not and it comes with, especially with somebody who is a leader or has led stuff, is like, you're used to like, hey, don't forget to do this. Hey, don't forget to do this. So it's probably a lot of the beta males that have issues with it because
honestly, yeah, I don't really like the whole alpha beta talk, but like I if you're that insecure of a man that this little flaw or quirk of mine is gonna bother you that much, like maybe try therapy.
Yeah, because it's like, again, it just
nothing bothers you.
It's just been like little things, and it's as simple as like, hey, did you grab your phone? And she's like, oh no, goes and get her phone. Instead of that leading into a whole argument or something like that, right? Or when you unplugged your phone to like go through it, and then.
Or you could have just let my phone die and been like, see, that's what you get. Like passive aggression with us is like terrible.
Yeah, see, and like I knew like, hey, like that way her phone is nice and charged. Just remind her to put it back in. And what did you do?
Put it back in?
Put it back in. And then she put it on the charger. So
I was like, there's a joke in here somewhere.
And then she put it back
I have a question.
Yeah.
What are the fun things though?
I don't know if it has to do with ADHD, but I love how
say it and we'll decide.
Like the attention she gives me, like and then also you match my energy in a lot of things. So like I really enjoy that, you know what I mean? Instead of having to be like always the one that, oh, let me chase. It's always been like, I give some, you give some, and I feel wanted by you, like, and would hope that you feel wanted by me. Mm-hmm. I think it's like that, like right now, is that you definitely, because you do have your kids who you also give your attention to, and your family and your friends, but you also make it sure that I get like that attention and know that I'm your person.
Yeah, something that you told me was like you really appreciate the constant communication, and no, he's not needy or anything, or just like you haven't texted me in 5 minutes. What's going on? But we both appreciate communication, and so one thing in my past relationship that was a big issue was like literally forgetting they're at work, and I'm literally forgetting that they exist the entire day because it's out of sight, out of mind. We have a problem with object permanence. If it's not in front of us, it doesn't exist. Literally, okay? This might happen one day, so just FYI. But so I've been trying to retrain my brain, and I mean, let's be honest, I'm on my fucking phone all day. So that if I notice I haven't texted him in a while, or if I'm editing videos, or if I'm with the kids or whatever, I'll just let him know, like, hey, I'm gonna be busy, or like, hey, I'm thinking about you, I'm over here with the kids, or hey, I'm thinking about you, but I'm doing some work. So you've kind of helped me retrain myself to be more communicative in that way. Because I know that's what you like, and we want to please.
Yeah. And it just like if you get busy, like sometimes I'm like, hey, I got to do this real quick. And you're like, oh, okay.
Because I think it's nice that you let me know instead of us being there like, he hates me.
Like, why hasn't
he texting me? Because we'll sit there and mope.
Yeah, because so for example, not that long ago, I went to Utah, and we stayed in yurts and a bunch of things like that. Like the power sucked. The Wi-Fi was horrible, terrible. The service, there was none basically. And I would just try to message her when I can. I'd be like, hey, we're doing this. I'm gonna go over here, and I'm probably gonna lose service, and so I'll text you later. And she was obviously it probably sucked because she told me afterwards that it sucked. That,
it sucked.
That I wasn't messaging her like normal, but
at least you let me know.
Yeah, instead of just being like, oh wow, he goes on this trip and completely fucking forgets about anybody else exists.
I think that goes also back to like how much we need reassurance. Another tip for somebody dating somebody with ADHD is we need a lot of reassurance. Like we need to hear constantly that we're enough in your life.
Yeah.
Because the self-doubt is, we've just been conditioned to see our flaws so loudly.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot to learn, but what I meant to say is a lot more to learn.
Yeah, like I said, you're just at the beginning of this. Babe.
Yeah, and so that's why, like, I wanted to at least get this episode out of the way, kind of like what it's like. Watch us in like 6 months. I fucking hate her.
I only get better, baby.
But you know what I mean? So like that way people can see, because people want to know how it is, like especially along the way. So we're also going to be making a lot more like couple content and stuff like that. And people love us talking on the podcast. So that's why whenever she does happen to move closer, then obviously it's going to be more of a permanent thing. Right now, she just jumps on the episodes anytime she's in town.
Yeah.
Like I typically record on Sundays, but it's not Sunday today. But we were like, let's get an episode done. That way we can
make it work.
Yeah, talk about some things and then go fuck afterwards. And then you know the vibes.
You know the vibes. Oh my god! I told him all the shit that I say you're gonna start saying, and all the shit that you say I'm gonna start saying. And when I talk about mirroring your partner, I'm over here.
Saying something and then
you know the vibes, and I'm just like, ew, did you hear yourself?
It's all right. It sounds fine.
He's going to end up getting my ADHD tendencies too. I don't know.
But anyways, no, yeah, I want to do this episode. We got some things to do, but hopefully, I mean, this is not going to be the last episode that she's going to be on.
Better not
Put that phone down. We're not done yet. Like she's grabbing her phone like the episode has wrapped yet. No.
Okay.
So and see, that's the whole distracting thing. So before we go, let's talk about the whole distracting. Like, so I had this TikTok and someone asked a question. I haven't posted it yet. I still need to edit and post it. And they said, like, if your partner puts their phone, where's my phone?
Oh,
if your partner takes your phone or their phone and they set it down like that, face down, if they're cheating. And I said, no, not necessarily, because she explained it. I'll let her explain why she does it here in a little bit. But me, I put my phone face up all the time. I rarely put it face down because I'm always, I don't know why, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to set it down and there's going to be like a rock or a pebble and I'm going to set it down and it's going to scratch the shit out of it or like it's going to break the screen. And so I was like, I don't want to do that. And so I leave it face up. And two, I'm not hiding anything, you know, like, so it never crosses my mind, like, don't forget to flip it just so you don't get fucking caught. So I'm not hiding anything. And the only thing I do put on my phone is a privacy screen. And so, and it's not because I'm trying to hide anything from her. It's, I gave this example to her yesterday and she started laughing.
Guys.
So, like, for example, I was, when I got back from Chicago, we were going to get off the plane. There was this guy who was on his iPad writing a horrible review to, like, some restaurant place. And God. I was able to read the whole message. I was like, the reason I have privacy screen on mine is because I'm nosy as fuck. I was like, and I'll look over it.
I send you some shit too. You better have that privacy screen.
Yeah, and I'll look over. And if he would have had a privacy screen, I probably would have been difficult to see. So I wouldn't even bother.
So nosy.
And so I was reading the message. Obviously, clearly, he was complaining about somebody not putting their Chipotle ranch in there and yada yada yada. Right? Made a whole different video on that. So I was like, that's why I have a privacy screen, especially like if you're in an airport or like sitting next to people. You know for a fact they may be looking straight, but they might do one of those like
not everybody's as nosy as you.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I have seen it.
Well, okay. I put
for example, like before you explain that, like I had a friend who also was like, why are you messaging that? And then I was like, why are you fucking looking at my phone? Like,
ew.
You know what I mean? And so that's why, like, so things like that. So explain to them why you do it.
My whole thing was like, when I'm at dinner, I'll have my phone. First of all, I'm a mom first, right? So I'll have my phone out so I can every once in a while do one of these, see if the babysitter called, see if my mom called, see if my son called, whatever. But I'll have my phone on the table face down because this is like my respect to you. Like nothing else is more important right now. No little notification is more important right now than you. Like this is saying like your attention is all mine. But I'm a mom, so I still have to, have it out. But me flipping it is me not getting distracted by every, notification.
Yeah, because if you notice, if you go back and watch some of these parts, she had it flipped the other way. And anytime we need to turn off her notifications on her Instagram because it gets bad. No, so I have mine turned off because I got tired of seeing them pop up because they get distracting. So she kept looking down.
Well, I actually like to reply to my followers.
Oh, I replied to them. But the thing is, like, when they constantly pop up, like, it's distracting, right? Uh-huh. And so you're constantly, like, I saw you, like...
yeah, the visual stimuli was too much for me.
Yeah, and that's why, like, we're trying to explain. Could they put their phone down because they're cheating? Yeah. But doesn't necessarily... I explained to her, just because some people got caught putting their phone the other way, they automatically assume that it's anyone who does that, they're cheating, right? Like you've caught people with a red hat cheating. So does that mean everybody who has a red hat is also cheating? You know what I mean? It's like that. Just because some people have done it doesn't mean everybody does it.
Also, ADHD and cheating is a really big issue, and we'll talk about that on another podcast.
So yeah, but anyways, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys. It's that one.
What?
That camera. Say bye to that camera.
Bye. I don't do this.